Please welcome to the stage Ben Ashworth, VP of Marketing at Zeni, and Lena Swar, Director of FinOps at Zeni.
Hello, hello. Super excited to be with everybody here today at SaaStr. I hope you've had a great event so far. As mentioned, my name is Ben Ashworth, and I'm the Vice President of Marketing at Zeni. At Zeni, we unleash the power of AI bookkeeping, and we give you a dedicated team of financial experts. So if you have any questions more about that, please feel free to come to our booth at booth number 216. We would love to help. But today we're going to be talking about data-driven dominance, which is a blueprint for exponential growth. I absolutely love data, and I'm super excited to be able to share more of that with you today.
Hi, I'm Lena Swar, Senior Director of Finance at Zeni. Thank you for joining us today.
Fantastic. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. So we're actually going to be looking at 3 key steps when it comes to driving data-driven dominance. Number 1, you've got to be able to measure and analyze. Number 2, then you take that and you're able to strategize and design. And then step 3 is where you're able to take those learnings, you implement it, and then you take those learnings and you share them amongst the team. So we're going to dive through these steps individually, starting right now. So first and foremost, at Zeni, one of the terms that I use quite a bit, quite often with my marketing team is you absolutely cannot optimize what you can't measure. So you need to make sure that no matter what, if you don't have a way of being able to measure your performance, first and foremost, make sure you get those key data points in place. So I wanted to first kind of walk through and define and how you actually define and you measure your growth funnel kind of across the board. So as a marketing leader, on my end, the thing that I'm looking at is really that funnel through and through. And there's really kind of 3 core components that I really break this down into. So first and foremost is looking at the counts. So you want to understand the counts of each individual stage of the funnel as you're walking through that. And then natively next, you're looking at those conversion metrics. So what is the conversion of moving from one stage to the next and making sure that that's super heavily defined. And then last but not least is really understanding how much does it cost you to be able to generate each and every single one of these individual steps that you have within your funnel to drive that exponential revenue growth.
To drive the SaaS business forward, there are 5 key areas you need to focus on. The first being growth. To track your new bookings, your expansions, how your customer base is growing. The second is retention. It's basically how your customers are sticking to the business. The third is sales efficiency. How are your sales investing converting to a long-term value? Fourth is margins, basically tracking your profitability. And the last but not the least, the capital efficiency, how you're using your capital to fuel growth. Let's take an example of a top-of-the-funnel approach where businesses track qualified leads to opportunities, converting to customers. Now put this together with the metrics where you put them all end-to-end to give a holistic approach of any business. Continuously work to improve these metrics in your business to have a great growth in your business. Now, data points are very important in how you measure them. It is very easy to track like the vanity metrics, which are very MQL, SQL, MRR, ARR. But looking at it in silo is okay, but if you look at it in a holistic view with the value metrics, it paints the entire picture of the business together. It tells the investor and demonstrates the value of your business by showing these metrics. So this is very important for you to track your growth, and this is going to be a data-driven experience to continuously monitor and improve your business.
Fantastic. So after you're able to measure and you're able to analyze that data, you then want to be able to build out a strategy kind of across the board. So really allow the data to tell the narrative of what you should be doing next, and then define a strategy that's cohesive that you can be able to go after and create a plan of attack. So with that being said, every business goes through a life cycle, so a growth life cycle, that is what I kind of call it. And you have to be able to incorporate the testing methodology mindset. So anything that you're going to approach with, whether it be a campaign, a new strategy, whatever it is that you're bringing to the table, you want to make sure that you can measure appropriately, but also have that testing methodology mindset of introducing new A/B tests, different ways of being able to introduce new variants, and so on and so forth. So here's kind of a quick example of a life cycle, a traditional life cycle when it comes to driving revenue growth. So first and foremost, you have your introduction phase. You then move through maturity, or you move through growth, you go into maturity, and then inevitably there's a decline. Now, if you're measuring this, you'll be able to identify when you're within maturity, so you can establish a brand new baseline of knowing, hey, this is where my business is at today, and I want to make sure that I'm moving it back into a new trajectory of growth before it moves down to the right. So this is where you introduce new variants, and you open up a brand new growth phase for your business once you have this strategy put in place.
So in the strategize and design phase, you need to have an actionable plan. So there are 3 steps involved. The first being pinpointing all the steps that are required to achieve your goal. The second is figuring out which departments are required to make it successful in the execution and achieve your goals. And third is basically keeping track of the progress and making improvements along the way so that you are very close to your goal.
Fantastic. So again, as we dive into kind of the last step is now that you've been able to measure, you've been able to analyze, now you've been able to build out a strategy, you want to be able to implement this strategy with the team, right? And be able to garner those learnings. So what you want to be able to do is make sure everybody within the organization is super rallied around what your objectives are and what your key results are. So this is something that we've done at Zeni, which has been absolutely phenomenal, of introducing objectives and key results. And first and foremost, you want to be able to share the overarching goal that you have as an organization with everybody within the organization in and of itself. And you want to be able to manage both down, but also manage up. Get feedback from your team members and what they see as pertinent KPIs, what they could drive towards, and the strategies that they want to accomplish. So you have them work with you to translate those metrics and get them tailored to the OKRs that you want to be able to implement. The most important piece is you want everybody to have fun with it. They have to be able to buy into that vision. They have to be able to buy into that strategy. And if you've done it well with being able to measure and analyze, you'll be able to allow the data to tell the narrative of what you should be doing next and really get your team amped around that. And then empower them to be able to take that proactive approach. Because if you empower them, they believe it's their idea as well, and you become one team to be able to help drive that revenue growth that you're looking for. And so the last piece is really being able to implement and learn and share updates with the entire company regularly. So one thing that we say at Zeni is share the news, no matter what. Whether it be good news or whether it be bad news, share the news. So share the wins, share the losses, and share the opportunities. Because if you can't define where your losses are today, then you can't identify where you can improve. And as you look at those losses, you can define those opportunities that can take you to the next step.
Here I want to share a real customer case study. At Zeni, we help this customer exactly implement all these 3 steps and help them achieve their goals. Company Z had conflating data between their B2B and B2C revenues. Their gross margins were lumpy. They were not aware of their revenue drivers. So we helped them apply the measure and analyze process. And through that process, they separated the data with B2B customers and the B2C customers, and also revamping their pricing strategy. In this process, they reallocated the resources from the B2C to B2B, and that way, the third process, which was the implement and learn, they could make consistent progress, and they were able to increase their revenue by 110% over 15 months. But that way, with a data-driven approach, they could achieve the growth they needed.
Absolutely. So I love this example because it goes through being able to look at, being able to measure, being able to analyze, being able to strategize, being able to design, implement, and learn, and share those learnings through that entire life cycle in and of itself, which drove an additional 110% in revenue over 15 months. So here are some of the key takeaways. So number 1, you cannot optimize what you can't measure. So that's first and foremost for your businesses, for your marketing teams, for your strategic teams, sales teams. Make sure that you can measure everything within the funnel and that you have clear visibility into that. Number 2, you need to understand the valuable metrics for your business. So understand what is vanity metric versus what's a valuable metric specifically for your business. And last but not least, you can't take control of your growth if you don't share the learnings from the data. If you don't share the learnings, you're going to continue to chase your tail, and you're going to continue to work in silos within the organization as a whole. So find a way, have an ecosystem of where you can share those learnings, and to be able to have that testing methodology mindset where it's okay to fail, it's okay to learn, share those learnings, and then drive yourself to those new stages of revenue growth. All right, thank you so much. As mentioned, we are Zeni, and so we are unleashing the power of AI bookkeeping and giving you a dedicated team of financial experts for your business. If you have any questions, please come visit us at booth number 216-216. Thank you very much.
Thank you.